It's time for the Hockey Minute, your source for all of today's hockey news with some opinion. Strap in for the fastest news in the NHL. This episode is proudly brought to you by fucking nobody. We don't have any sponsors. Now, here's your hosts, Brandon and Ryan.
And here we are. I am your host, Brandon. With me, as always, my co-host, Ryan. When we started this podcast, we expected we'd be doing some breaking news episodes, but we never anticipated it would be news like this. As I'm sure you've all heard, Edmonton Oilers player Colby Cave passed away on Sunday, April 11th. We're going to do our best here today to remember him as best we can. So Ryan, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's hard to put something like this into words, right? He's 25 years old. He's in, what you'd imagine to be peak physical condition as a professional hockey player. I couldn't help when I heard the news today. I couldn't help but think of my own brother who just turned 26 a couple days ago, and I can't imagine losing my brother and realizing just how young he is. So it's hard, right? I mean, obviously, the entire NHL. I saw multiple press releases from the NHL, the PA. I think all, if not all, 31 teams, a majority of the teams were posting stuff on social media, and it's just wild to think that something like this could happen, and it's just a reminder, right? I mean, anything, take every day, don't take it for granted. Make every day count, and just seeing not just the outpouring from guys like McDavid and Jake DeBrusk had a really touching message. But, I mean, everybody in the hockey world, I think, all the fans, they feel this right now, especially because of who this was. This was a guy that was scrappy. He was undrafted. I mean, just a good old-fashioned prairie kid, right, from Battleford, Saskatchewan. Went undrafted. He played in Swift Current, where he was a captain for a couple of years, and I was just poring over some of his stats, and it's no surprise eventually he got picked up by a team, because the last 3 years of his junior career he was at least a 20-goal scorer, and Bruins signed him, and he battled his way in the minors with Providence. He got a 3-game stint in 2017-2018 with the Bruins, and then the next year ended up playing 20 games, got his first NHL goal, which we saw all over social media again. And it's surreal to think about. And it's heartbreaking to see, I'm a single guy, and even seeing his wife's posts on social media had me a little bit misty-eyed. I can't relate to that, to what she's thinking there, but this is just horrendous. Like, there's no way to describe this.
No, and I mean, we've all been following the story pretty closely over the last week as it's been developing, and I think, at least for me, I fully expected him to recover. I just, after watching kind of, we've seen heart attacks and all sorts of stuff. Clint Malarchuk having his throat slashed, and I know all these things are on the ice, but I'm just saying we've seen these horrendous injuries and how tough these guys are and how quick they recover. I just fully expected he'd be back. I didn't ever think it would go the other way. So it was a real shock to hear the news this morning.
Exactly.
I thought I'd just take a second here and read his wife's Emily, her last post to Instagram, kind of memorializing him here. So she says, to my best friend and love of my life, Colby, my heart is shattered. The amount of physical, mental, and emotional pain I'm in when I think about never seeing, touching, or holding you again is unbearable. You are and will always be my person, my hero, the greatest thing to happen to me. I never dreamed of being a widow before our first wedding anniversary. Although every cell in my body is lost without you, I promise to continue to make you proud. You are the best friend, husband, doggy daddy, and oh, how I wish to see you as a baby daddy. I'll see you again soon, Colb. You'll be in heaven meeting me with a warm, wet kiss. You'll be with me every step of the way. I don't want to stop writing, just like I didn't want to stop holding you this morning at the hospital. You are my everything, and you always will be. Thank you for now being the best guardian angel. Just as you ended your vows, I'm going to end with one word, agape. Now, I think that's just heartbreaking for anybody, right? But the fact that they hadn't even been married a year, like we already talked about, he's 25. Like, Like, he's just a kid. If anybody listens to Joe Rogan, I mean, he's always talking about how your prefrontal cortex isn't even developed until you're 25. Like, he's literally just ending his, essentially his adolescence, right? So, yeah, just it's really, really heartbreaking. And I mean, obviously, I feel for his parents. I mean, obviously, everybody involved, but you never want to bury your kids. It's messed up in all sorts of ways. So, yeah, I mean, my heart absolutely goes out to all of them.
It's amazing to see, for a guy that played 67 games over the course of 4 years in the NHL, and just to see the amount of kind words. I mean, there's so many players that he played with, whether it was in the minors or in the NHL level, that just seemed to say, I mean, even Max Domi, who I don't know, I mean, Max Domi, I don't think ever played with him in any level. I was kind of just seeing if there was an overlap, but Max Domi had posted something on Instagram just talking about, Colby Cave, what a warrior, and just shows the NHL is a brotherhood, right? Like they all care about each other, and you know what, you said this a couple minutes ago, and it just reminded me. Yeah, I mean, Rich Peverly, Yuri Fisher, Richard Zednick, about 10 years or so. Like, you always expect hockey players, Bouwmeester, hockey players are the toughest athletes on the planet, and it's become just kind of the norm to just expect them to just come back. And this is, I think, what made it even more shocking, was that we just expected it. We expected good news, and we didn't get it. So,
yeah, we should probably say he passed from a colloid cyst. Right? Is that right? Did I mess that up? So,
correct. Yeah, led to a brain bleed, and he was in a medically induced coma for a few days.
Right, and normally, I mean, I'm obviously no doctor, but this seems like this is something that many people live with, right? You can go your whole life kind of having this diagnosis and being just fine and monitoring it closely. So, yeah, I think it's a shock all around for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and from what we heard, he was just a great guy. I mean, the story that made the rounds was when he knocked out Martin Pospisil a couple of years ago in a fight. He texted him just saying, "Hey, I respect you for sticking up for yourself, handling your own business," and just shows the kind of guy that he was. Never wanted to hurt anybody else, and you hear, like I said, more stuff will come out, I'm sure.
Yep.
I think everyone's just kind of absorbing this news today. But from everything that I saw, and you can't seem to find anything bad about this guy. Like, there was nothing, nobody had anything bad to say about him, and it just seemed like he was just a good man, a good husband, and a guy that never complained. And even when he was up and down between the minors, didn't appear to ever have any complaints. And that's usually how they go with the undrafted players, is that they're just, they're blessed. They feel blessed to just be there. And, you know what, it's what makes it tough, right?
Hard not to cheer for any undrafted player, right? They're always such compelling stories. So, yeah, I mean, I think the whole hockey world and everybody is a little bit heartbroken today and shocked. And we just wanted to bring you the news as best we could. And, we really hope that everybody out there will hug their loved ones and cherish the moments they have with them. I mean, I know it may sound a little bit cheesy, but these things really bring into perspective just how fragile life can be. I mean, so I think it's very important to show those that you care.
We'd like to take a second and thank you, the listener, for joining us. And a big thanks goes to our writers and production team, Jules, Mark, and Matt. We couldn't do this without you. That's going to do it for us. This is Brandon and Ryan. We'll talk to you next time on the Hockey Minute.